My parents demanded half my lottery money for my sister, so I set them up with a fake ticket. I won $3 million in the lottery, and the second my parents heard, they called a family meeting at the kitchen table. Dad didn't even say congrats. He said, half goes to your sister Ruby, or you get out of this house. Mom nodded like it was normal. Ruby sat there smiling, already counting my money in her head. I said, no, it's my ticket. Dad pointed at the stairs. Then you pack tomorrow. This wasn't new. When I got my first job at 16, they made me hand Ruby half my pay to learn sharing. When Grandma left me a ring, they gave it to Ruby because she'll use it more. So when I heard the lottery demand, my stomach sank because I knew they'd try to grab the ticket. That night I heard whispers in the kitchen. Ruby said, she always caves. Dad said, she can't live without us. Mom said, if she gets stubborn, we'll make sure she can't cash it. That was it for me. I work in graphic design, so I opened my laptop and made a fake ticket that looked real at a glance. Same layout, same font, same little logos. I printed it on thicker paper and roughed up the edges so it looked carried around. Then I drove to my bank and put the real ticket in a safety deposit box. I kept the receipt and the box number on my phone just in case. In the morning, I came to breakfast with puffy eyes and a quiet voice. Dad watched me like a guard. Mom said, so what are you choosing? I swallowed and said, fine, I'll leave. Ruby's mouth twitched like she was trying not to grin. I nodded and walked upstairs, hearing them follow me with their eyes. In my room, I moved slow on purpose. I tossed shirts into a bag, then stopped, like I was overwhelmed. I even let out a fake little sob. My phone buzzed with Ruby texting from downstairs. Don't make this hard. I didn't reply. I slid the fake ticket into my wallet, right where it would be easy to spot. Then I came back down and forgot my wallet on the counter when I walked past the kitchen. I made sure my car keys stayed in my pocket. I didn't have to wait long. I heard a drawer slam, then quick footsteps. Mom laughed under her breath. Ruby said, there it is. Then Dad yelled, Amelia, get down here now. I walked in and saw them hunched over my wallet like a crime scene. Dad had the fake ticket in his hand. He flipped it over and squinted at the fine print, like he actually knew what he was looking at. Mom's eyes were bright, like she was enjoying this. I put on my best scared face. Please don't, I said softly. Ruby laughed and said, oh, now you care. Dad said, this is what happens when you choose greed over family. Ruby held up the ticket. Last chance, she said. Say you'll share. I just stared. Ruby rolled her eyes and started cutting. Snip, snip. The paper fell in little strips. Then she tore the rest in half and tossed it across the counter. No lottery money for you, she said. Maybe next time you'll remember who matters. I stared at the scraps for a beat. Then I started laughing. Quiet at first, then louder. Their smiles dropped fast. Mom said, what is wrong with you? I wiped my eyes and said, you're right, that ticket was worthless. Dad frowned. What did you say? I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app and my banknotes. I held it up so all of them could see. Safety deposit box rental, I said, tapping the screen. Opened yesterday afternoon, and here's the box number. Ruby's face went pale. Mom grabbed the counter like she might fall. Dad just stared at my phone like it was fake too. I said, the real ticket was never in my wallet. It's been locked up since last night. What you just destroyed was a fake I made for you to find. Ruby snapped. You tricked us! I said, no, I just let you do what you planned to do. Dad tried to sound in control. We're still your parents. Mom's voice turned sweet, like a switch flipped. Honey, we were trying to teach you. I cut her off. You taught me. You were ready to ruin my future just to punish me. Ruby stepped forward, desperate now. Okay, we can do it fair. 50-50, just like Dad said. I looked at the torn pieces on the counter and then at her face. You didn't want fair. You wanted me broke. I grabbed my keys, slid my wallet back into my pocket, and walked to the front door. Behind me, Ruby screamed, you can't leave! You owe us! Dad barked my name, and Mom started crying. I opened the door, stepped out, and shut it without looking back. Now my parents are saying I'm cruel for the fake ticket. Was I wrong?